Well, how did you like your twerking, Jake?
It didn't. There was not enough twerking. At first, I was very off-put at the idea of a female robot twerking, and then there wasn't any twerking after I finally got okay with it, and now I feel deprived.
I know, and I was doing the fucking TikTok. I was practicing the TikTok dance so we could do it, and then they cut out the twerking sex robot hentai doll that M3gan is, or M3gan. So M3gan. Well, you want to know what? Did you like the Child's Play remake?
I loved it. It was one of my favorite movies. It's probably my favorite reboot short of The Evil Dead 2013.
Same with me, and I feel like, if you have kids that weren't able to watch the Child's Play remake, well, Megan's the one for you, because this one's PG-13, and it's funny. I don't know what it is with AI movies and toys and stuff like the Child's Play remake and M3gan, but they both reference Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, so there you go.
You get a direct chop top in this. It's like, is this homage? Is this theft? I don't know. But I would actually argue that I would be, as a parent, more comfortable with my kids watching the Child's Play reboot than this. Because the tone of the Child's Play reboot is more capricious and fun. The tone of this is like, what the fuck, man? It's not the Invisible Man reboot. You need to chill a little bit.
Yeah, no, seriously. I was telling Jake after the movie here too. I'm like, this was a lot more grounded in reality, and I feel like the people that die, they're kind of brutally, but in the Child's Play remake, it's trashy. Like, you get the dirty, greasy guy in the basement, messing with the saws and everything, and then Megan's...
Proof that we're in a parking lot for this review. I don't know if you heard this alarm going off.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't do it in the foyer. See, if we were in the foyer, we'd be doing the M3gan dance that apparently all the people on TikTok are breaking their arms for, and then they're going to the hospital and realizing it's like, fuck, my medical insurance sucks. It's not covering broken arms. So
yeah, I actually have no idea what you're talking about. I was talking to my wife about how I have hired a new attorney at my firm who's 10 years younger than me, and even she's like, oh, TikTok's for kids, and I was like, oh fuck, that means I'm like an old person. I am an old man.
We have TikTok for the slasher thing, but fuck if I know how to use it. I just don't like the idea of having no control over it, because that's how TikTok is. You scroll up, and you don't. It's not the content you want. It's just random things that are fucking fed to you. It's like, you're gonna watch this fucking video.
I would equivocate my experience on TikTok to that of the people in M3gan, where when I've scrolled through TikTok, it's just very loud, and I don't understand it, and I just want it to go away. And that's the people in this movie, because it's like, she's a robot, and everything she does, like, they think that you're fucking stupid, Blumhouse, because they're like, hey, we have to add a whirring sound whenever she... And I'm like, am I watching the fucking guy from the Police Academy movies? Please, for the love of fuck, stop making that noise. And it's very much like TikTok to me.
Yeah, see, there you go. And the thing with M3gan, too, is that, Jason Blum is still trying to go for the whole, it's like, oh, these are for teenagers, after school on their phone, texting to go to the mall and watch it. But, I don't know, I just feel like there's like a weird mix in here where it's like family drama, like a seriously drama, and then there's like dark comedy.
Equal parts, I would say, Hereditary, Child's Play, Invisible Man reboot. I would say if you add those three elements, it's what you get. Similar, I guess.
It's very clean. Like well, I think that was the whole thing, because the main girl in this, she's like has OCD or everything. It's like, I don't know if that's OCD, but when you're sticking a cup on, a little cardboard coaster, so it doesn't get wet. It's like, no, don't touch the toys. It's my stuff. So, but what I can say is, I don't know what your stance is on. See, Megan's getting pissed. She's blowing these horns everywhere here. She knows we're talking about
They didn't define her powers enough, which was frustrating to me. That's something I never like. If it's like, if you have Wi-Fi, lead into it, do it. She at a certain point becomes omnipotent. She's like, oh, I can do this and that and this and that, and oh, I'm actually not asleep, but I am asleep, and your bypass doesn't work. I'm like,
no, she was in beta, so she was in beta, not master beta, but I don't know, like, it was kind of like HAL, you know what I mean? Like, where it's like, oh, I'm just learning AI and I'm picking up everything, but then you realize it's like, oh, I'm AI, but I could pick up that I'm sentient, so I got to be more humanistic. And
the most interesting part was when she confronted her, like, you just left me to figure this shit out, like, you made a brain that you didn't even understand, and I have to be the person, and I was like, fuck, that's the interesting part of this movie. That's the interpersonal conflict, and then they just don't do anything with that. And it's like, it's so funny, and it happens in horror so much, and somebody falls into an interesting thing that they don't explore. Like, I'm watching the fucking Willow show on Disney Plus, and every episode there's like 4 things where I'm like, yes, that's a conflict. This is what, and it's a joke, and then they move on. I'm like,
yeah, that's kind of how this one is, because I feel like, Jason Blum's like, oh, wait, we can't overload the audience. They're just people on TikTok on their phones.
Your attention span's this big, so I have to remind you that she's a robot. But I will say, with my criticisms, it was a fine movie, and it's an important movie. just like Doug has talked about, it's PG-13, and that's important. We need to have these kinds of films, otherwise you're not going to grow new horror fans. We saw so many fucking teeny boppers in there just having fun, and I like watching people have fun. Like, it makes me happy. Apparently John Cena came back to WWE, and it was all over Reddit, and I commented, I just like seeing people that happy.
Yeah.
I have no like, I met John Cena in San Jose in 2003, I think.
Oh, okay, back when he was like a PS1
Thugonomics guy. Very, very nice guy. And that is literally the end of my knowledge of him until he retired from wrestling and became an actor. But I still have a sentiment to it because I like seeing people happy. I like seeing that. And we need to facilitate that as horror fans. We don't get to be elitist and snobbish and say, no, it's not for me, it's not for anybody, this is trash. It's not trash. It's not as good, but it's not trash.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a bad movie. In fact, I enjoyed it. I think it's slower than the Child's Play remake, and I'm gonna keep mentioning that because that's the closest thing it reminds me of with the AI breaking down and everything, making those weird contorted faces.
I mean, it starts off doing a ganky face like that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like, you know, I feel like this could be true because you also got to think too. That's kind of like how new movies are now. It's like we got to do something weird that people can kind of imitate and do it on social media, like TikTok, for example. Because hey, you do that, it's like, oh, the M3gan challenge. It's free advertising for them.
Hashtag the M3gan face, and she's like,
yeah, M3gan face are doing that weird that dance. Because I read about it, like people are doing the dance on the internet and they're swinging their arms and they're like breaking them.
You know what's super funny to me? I'm not gonna just trash the movie because I did like.
I liked it. Yeah.
She like does this fucking kung fu cartwheel no-handed thing. And later on, somebody tries to stop her by like just throwing shit on the floor, and I just wanted to yell like comically at the screen, like, "Bitch, she's just gonna no-handed cartwheel over that fucking bookshelf."
Yeah, I was it reminded me of Everything Everywhere All at Once, like in the office building, like knocking all that stuff down.
I've had so many good conversations about that movie. It's so good.
Oh yeah, no, you could do a whole 3-hour podcast on that. So
you could do a series because, like, what I was saying, what I love about Everything Everywhere All at Once is it's like Rick and Morty without like the loadedness of like a shitty fan base, where it's like
no neckbeard incel ham and cheese smelling people.
Dude,
so.
It's so frustrating. And it's, you know. Do this. If you have time to watch both, watch both. If you have time to watch one, watch Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Honestly, like the kills were kind of brutal. Like, are we going into spoilers or?
Okay, so we'll do spoilers in the sense of whether there was a brutal death or a gory death, because I think there's a distinction where it's not gory at all,
gory, no.
But it's brutal, and that's one of the things that happens with bloodless movies very often is that they. I won't say overcompensate, but kind of, where it's like, it's more severe and almost mean-spirited. Like, the kills in Child's Play were like, ha-ha, he got his.
It's gory,
like,
yeah.
Fuck, the kid was just rude. He wasn't even that bad of a kid.
That's what I was going to mention about that fucking kid. So there's a scene that's kind of like, they go to summer camp. I don't even know what the fuck it was.
It was an alternative day experience.
I thought he was going to assault M3gan. I'm like, this is
I thought he was going to fuck that doll, and I was like, do not fuck that doll.
I mean, but she does look like the hentai dolls that you see at anime conventions and stuff, you know.
Sadly true.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, and what was was that an obsession or like a fetish, like that kid taking off his shoe? Or is that foreshadowing for, see, I'm going to go into fucking spoilers again, but the kid loses his shoe later on in the movie too.
Yeah, I think that was like literally a shoe for a shoe makes the whole world unclothed. But I think that it was supposed to imply like I'm taking the shoes so I could take the tights, I think. But we've hit beyond 10 minutes, so I'm gonna have to do some fancy editing to get this onto Instagram.
Oh yeah.
The criteria: is this one that is worth seeing in theaters? Is it worth buying? Is it worth renting? Is it worth pirating?
You know, I would say like see this in the theater with a crowd. I think that's because it's a January movie, but see it in the theater with a crowd because there's gonna be teenagers and kids there, so you get to hear their reaction. And I guess it's just kind of like a fun thing because when you rent it or stream it, it's not gonna be the same as, you know, the audience reaction, because that's the fun of it. Because the first hour, like, I mean, it's very melodramatic the first hour, so.
It's a bit dry, but having the because I could see how it would lose people. If you're watching at home, you're going to be on your phone. That's simple. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that having that tether, I gave it a more of a shot. Also, the actress who's in it, even the kid actress was just chewing the fucking scenery the whole time. The lead lady was good.
But I do gotta say there was M3gan did a cool thing where it's animatronic, but then it's also an actress. Like someone's playing M3gan, you can tell.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So which I appreciate because
she does a robot the whole fucking movie.
She's better than that fucking Christmas Bloody Christmas or the Banana Splits movie where it's like you can clearly tell there's people in there. Yeah. But this one they played it good. See it in the theater. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And tra la 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 la.
If you remember that movie, it's probably forgotten now.